All right, guys. Looks like somebody had sent this to me. It's about Mr. Gemini official from the old TikTok platform. I'm surprised that this made it into like actual like content, you know. But yeah, this individual named Underflow made a video about it. I'm interested in it. Oh, actually, there's another one I'm interested in too. Wow, this guy's
Hello, everybody.
he might make some bangers. This individual might make a few bangers. Looks like he does a lot of lolcow content. So, you know, hey, God bless. There's a place for it. Yeah, let's get it started. This is about Gemini Official, not a great guy. You know, people know I was very active. Reason he got canceled. So, let's get going.
Everybody, and my name is Underflow, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today's video, we have a crazy topic to talk about by a man of the name of Johnny Elbows. Now, most of you will know.
Guys, I started the wrong video. I started the Johnny Elbows video. Oops. Let's play the right one.
Basically, I got with this girl, and she's 15 years old, and that was a situation.
Oh, no.
After the fact, I found out that she was 15, and I still kept talking to her.
Damn.
So much so that I asked to FaceTime fuck, which is...
There's an event going on in Los Angeles that Gemini was attending, and I had Gemini on staff, and he asked me to come over. The first night he asked me to come over, it was a Thursday, and I said no because I had school the next day. And then the next day he asked me again to come over, and I told him I couldn't go over there, I couldn't drive because I was 15, and I told him that in bigger hole. So in a moment of weakness I agreed, and I got in the Uber and I went over there. Now I'm not going to go into details as of what happened in the hotel.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a brand.
You know, when it came to that situation, that wasn't great, right? He was 19 at the time and she was 15. I think that that's inappropriate. But I don't think that's necessarily like predatory. The issue though was that like instead of just being like, yeah guys, sorry, it's something I shouldn't have done and moving on, he made like these really weird code videos justifying what he did as if everything was like, I'm sorry, but she really wanted it and she wore something that was like that was begging for it and this and that thing. And then it came out that like, you know, he did a bunch of other stuff. He got kicked out of school for like sexual battery. He had assaulted a drunk TikToker, like sexually assaulted a drunk TikToker. Wild ass stuff. Then when he came back, and I have a whole, you can just look up the playlist on Papa Gut, the archive now is what it is. He came back and he started talking to a 14-year-old girl when he was like 21. So this guy has not changed, just letting you know. He's like, oh, you look so grown, basically. It's wild.
Brand new video. Today's video is going to be talking about a man by the name of Gemini. Gemini became very popular around mid-2020, and his exposure led around late 2020, around December. Gemini was very well known for his duets and stitches on the app of TikTok. As a matter of fact, he blew up from one little trend alone, a trend which I would like to say that he created. The trend would have two people bickering back and forth, a female asking for a peppermint, and then him saying you can have one, the female spitting it out, and then him yelling at the female for spitting out the peppermint. In all facts, I'll be completely honest, it was probably one of the dumbest fucking trends I ever laid my eyes upon.
Listen. I'll put the playlist in the description, but that was TikTok, man. It somehow is a little bit more robust now, even though it's still goblin mode.
I'm going to show you the peppermint trend now, but I'm going to leave out the sound due to the fact that it just might be copyrighted.
Can I have a peppermint? Facial expressions.
Gemini in every single Can I Have a Peppermint video that he would record, out of the like possibly 100s that he would make, he would always do those really stupid facial features and try to pass it off as comedy instead of him just acting like a complete imbecile. This whole beef, drama, and exposure of Gemini happened extremely late 2020, and it originally started out, from what I can tell, with a woman by the name of Ruby. Ruby was the first person to bring Gemini's predator-like tendencies to light. And
well, so with the Ruby, I forgot what her name is. It's something like really weird, like Ruby Loves Burps or something. I forget the specifics. What had happened is Ruby had heard, if that's the girl I'm thinking of, but this girl had heard that Gemini was being a little bit suspicious, right? And so she was 16 and Gemini was 20, and like she started talking to him, and like it seemed like she expressed some kind of an interest to try to bait him into wanting to talk to her. And I remember this because at the time, you know, I looked at it and I'm like, first of all, like she waited like a day to try to like catch him, and I was like, well, first of all, like, you know, he doesn't even seem interested. But second of all, at 16 and 20, I said that's not something that I would find particularly inappropriate. And I remember like Ruby was awesome. That I think was what it was. Very different from Ruby Burps, but you know, whatever. And I remember that because I was very active in this entire social conversation. And after the 15-year-old girl came forward, I just signal boosted that on my TikTok, and I was just like, hey, like this is everybody should know. And then I kind of just moved on. I had no intention of talking about it because I'm like, you know, like I said, I don't think that 15 and 19 is good, but I also don't think that it makes you like this horrible predatory person. But his response was so like really shitty, and then more stuff came out, and like it all just kind of blew up in his face. So.
And in turn of her doing that, she lost over 50,000 followers and was called a liar and shamed. After Ruby made a video with the allegations towards Gemini, Gemini made a video back saying it was all a lie, as well as talking to multiple people saying it was all a lie, calling her a liar, and basically saying everything she said was false and fabricated. But little did majority of the people watching this beef unfold on the public space of TikTok know that Ruby was actually telling the truth. Now you will have to pause a lot of that video that I just showed you, 16.
Yeah, it's a few different screenshots.
Unfold on the public space of TikTok know that Ruby was actually telling the truth.
Let's see, this is what you call a pedophile. Cute, because I guess he said cute back to her. I don't even know if that was her stuff or if that was somebody else's stuff that he had sent to a different person. Pretty sure she's 13. Okay. I don't remember a lot of this. How old do you get? Nobody, this is you. It doesn't look like they... Okay, we don't really know the age of that person there. It doesn't really matter. I already know the outcome, so we don't have to specifically watch all the clips, but okay. I already know the outcome, guys.
Now you will have to pause a lot of that video that I just showed you. It's 16 seconds long, but there's a lot to unpack there. I highly suggest stopping the video and reading it all for yourself. Right after that video was made, Ruby was then called out and called a liar by multiple people, including Gemini. He would go on to just completely make a bunch of claims saying that it was all false and fabricated, but people would learn shortly after that this transpired, that was not the case.
To all the people who are saying that I initiated the conversation and that he didn't know my age, here you go.
Well, that doesn't really matter because she was 16, he was 20. It's really not that like horrible big of a deal. This video isn't particularly comprehensive.
This is the last time we talked, July 21st. And now, it says yesterday, he started the conversation, he said something first. Therefore, he initiated the conversation asking about my ex. Second of all, this proves that he knew my age. He literally says right here, at first I didn't know how old you were, and then he knew my age, and then he still complimented me. He literally called me a cutie, and he wanted to FaceTime and asked me if I wanted to talk after he knew I was 16. I really need you guys to listen to me and to believe me on this.
Yeah, this is one of those things where like 16 and 20 is not really that bad. I would say that it's a little bit inappropriate, but like, you know, this is the social atmosphere though. Again, the issue that with Gemini was that like more than anything else is that he raped a drunk TikToker. Probably the biggest issue. I don't know about you guys, but that's bad. Also got kicked out of his school for sexual battery. Apparently he used to break into the he was like one of those like floor guys at college. You know what I'm talking about? The guys that stay in the like those guys that will like the floor people. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, I fucked that up so bad. The people who stay in the, you know what I'm talking about, right? Like they manage the floor, whatever. Like the other students, the student, whatever bullshit. And he would go into the girls' rooms and sit there and wait for them to get home. Sorry that I couldn't get that out. So that's the bigger issue. And then of course he tried to talk to a 14-year-old when he came back to TikTok, calling her like looking really mature for age or some shit like that. Like, oh, you're really developed. It was some weird shit. That came out because of this situation, boyo. So you disagree 16-20 is really weird? It's not. I mean, that's fine. I think it's inappropriate. I think that the social atmosphere is shifting, but it's not inherently predatory for 16 and 20. So.
Because I literally have all the proof. This guy does not have any proof. Like, come on, guys. Seriously?
This was one of the major turning points in this entire drama, as Ruby was now giving full-blown proof as to why Gemini was a bad person.
That didn't turn anything, by the way. That didn't turn anything. That turned to 0%. Nobody was on her side through that. And I'm not saying that they should or shouldn't have. I'm just saying like this is objectively not what happened. Like I was very active on this situation. That is not what happened at all. Nothing started turning until that other 15-year-old girl came forward, and then all the other stuff started to come out. So,
although people would still go on to defend Gemini, and he would still deny the claims. Since all this drama did happen 3 years ago, it was a lot harder to find all the clips than you would think. But then someone stood out even more. Someone came out and started talking about the situation much more. A 15-year-old girl by the name of Lily stepped out into the spotlight to start talking about the situation and her experiences with the 19 to 20-year-old man Gemini. Shortly after Lily's video came out, Gemini came out about a day after with a 6-part apology video, and it wasn't even just 6 parts. He technically had a 7th part that he titled The Conclusion, like he was writing the fucking ending to his final in English class.
There's an event going on in Los Angeles that Gemini was attending. And I had Gemini on Snap, and he asked me to...
Yeah, when she made these, I just signal boosted it. I remember that. Oh, dude, this is so annoying. Yeah. And then I kind of just like, again, like I kind of left it. It wasn't until after where he was like, oh, it was her fault. She dressed for it. She wanted it. She came here. She did that. Where I was like, okay, this guy's being a real scumbag. And that's when I made my first YouTube video on it. I think it's still the biggest YouTube video I have on my old main channel, the Pop Good Archive. So, yeah.
First night he asked me to come over, it was a Thursday, and I said no because I had school the next day. And then the next day he asked me again to come over, and I told him I couldn't go over there, I couldn't drive because I was 15, and I told him that. And a few hours later, around midnight, he asked me to come over again and offered to get me an Uber. I was already in a pretty bad mental space at the time, and I had just had something happen that day that put me into an even bigger hole. So in a moment of weakness, I agreed, and I got in the Uber and I went over there. Now, I'm not going to go into details as of what happened in the hotel, but...
In that same video, Lily goes on to say that, oh, I'm not going to tell you what happened in that motel, but I'm sure that you could guess what happened in that motel, hinting towards sexual activity between the two people. Gemini knew that the young lady would not be able to drive to a motel to meet him due to the fact that she wouldn't be legally allowed to drive given that she was at the age of 15, so he ordered her an Uber and had her Uber over to his motel. So shortly after, the man that has the same teeth that look like the fucking zipper on my coat came out with an apology video. I'm going to show you a majority of this apology, but it is so damn long. All parts of the apology are like 5 minutes and 30 seconds put together, and that's not even counting his 60-second long conclusion statement like he was writing the end of his thesis. So without further ado, I'm going to show you a very large portion of this guy's apology video, and I want you to be ready to be shocked.
That's his third apology video. So I linked it in the playlist in my description, but there was that's actually the third apology that he did. That was actually the third apology that he gave. The first two, they're under my playlists. Like he ended up he put it up, he removed it, he put it up, he removed it. It was a lot of back and forth with that. This is the most recent conversation I had with Tuv to talk about the topic better. Yeah, his second apology. This is his third and last apology. So I have the full thing here. Dude, I'm so weird looking guy. And then I have all the comprehensive stuff here. So let's continue.
Series of videos just explaining and owning up and taking accountability. As many of you know, there's been a bunch of drama going down, particularly with this girl named Lily. Now, I'm not going to explain the story because I'm sure that there's many stories around everyone's accounts or on people's Twitches or whatever, but basically I got with this girl and she's 15 years old. Now, I do want to say that I really didn't know that she was 15 when I got with her, but I paid for her Uber, she came and hang out with me, we got with each other, and that was the situation. After the fact, I found out that she was 15 and I still kept talking to her.
I think at this point, like, that was already proven wrong. He just kept lying about it over and over again. He had to keep, like, walking it back slightly.
So much so that I asked to FaceTime fuck, which is completely disgusting.
Right there you witness him saying that even though he knew she was 15, he still wanted to keep going and continue going to the point where he tried to get another round with her. But this time virtually through the phone. The Rizmaster here that we are seeing, his special move is hiding in the bottom of the McDonald's ball pit and trying to grab at young people's legs. But without further ado, because I know all of you are itching to see this apology video, this terrible admission of guilt, I'm going to show it to you guys so we can get this over and done with.
Now, of course, I know this is a serious situation, and I know that a lot of people go through serious situations like this. People were asking me, well, why did you keep her in your phone? Why did you keep talking to her? And it was because I didn't want to block her or run away. I know that what I did was wrong, and I made sure that she was okay because I didn't know.
He didn't know what he was doing was wrong because he's from Florida. You know, Florida's wild, bro. But yeah, man, I think he knew what he did wasn't like great. But again, the bigger issue, the old sexual assault of the old sexual assault of an actual person and trying to talk to kids and shit. God damn it.
I kept her in my phone because if she wanted to go legal or take action or talk about the situation, she has my information to do so. So why did you ask her to FaceTime fuck after you knew how old she was? I don't know. I can't.
So let's get one thing pretty damn clear here between the two of us, Gemini. You kept her in your phone so that she would be able to sue you for a lot of things due to the disgusting behavior that you had, and it wasn't anything to do with the fact that you're a fucking pedophile. Now, I don't know what hunch that's giving me. Maybe.
Well, not for nothing, but like 15 and 19 would not make you a pedophile. I think it's just from a clinical perspective, it's important to have the right conversation about like what a pedophile is, especially like even on the internet. I don't think like it's not appropriate behavior. I don't think it's predatory inherently to do 15 and 19, but it's not. Pedophilia is like a very different thing. He might be. This wouldn't be necessarily an indicator. I think that he's just a gross piece of shit. So
it's the forced ghost of my great-great-great-grandfather, but something's telling me that you kept her in your phone because you are attracted to minors.
Answer that. Super, super disgusting of me, and I've never really done that to anybody. Of course I flirt, and of course I can be excessive.
Except for that drunk TikToker.
I never forced this girl to do anything.
Another thing you did was like I think it's called Yubo. I forget what it's called or whatever the fuck. I forget what the app is called. It's been a while. But there's this app where basically if you can you can go on, it's like a pseudo dating app for like what people, but in order to talk to anybody that's 17 and under, you have to register yourself as 17 and under. And he was 19 at the time and he registered as 17 and under. And it's like weird. He was talking to a 17-year-old, so it's not like that big of a deal. But it was like, why are you registered as under 17? Like that's the part that's more bizarre, based with everything else in mind as well. It's just like, what the fuck? Red flags.
Or I never manipulated her or built a relationship with her at all. I do care about her health and I do care about people's well-being.
See, what I interpreted from what you just said, Gemini, is that you said that you didn't force her to do anything and she did it of her own free will and consent. But let me tell you something, Gemini. Here's a little secret that we can keep between the two of us, I guess, if you want to. And that's that, children, they can't consent.
Go after kids? No. Do I intentionally attack or abuse or go after TikTok children? No.
I think that Gemini seems like the kind of person that tries to go after people not based on age, but based on vulnerability. I could be wrong, but that's what it kind of reads is to me. Where it's more like, oh, a young person is easier to manipulate, not because he likes them because they're young, but because they're easier to manipulate, is more than anything else. Is what I think. So
I am sorry to,
because there are people who like will molest children, and they're not necessarily pedophiles, but they're like really attracted to like vulnerable people. It's a really bizarre thing. It still doesn't matter. Like it doesn't make it less illegal, but it's like really bizarre. The way like some of these attractions work.
And her family, and to any of other creators or people who have been affected by this whole situation. I never meant for any of this to happen.
For the rest of the apology, it's him just saying the same nonsensical shit over and over and over and over again. Gemini was actually banned after all this happened, and then he made a comeback to the platform shortly after getting caught for doing the same thing again from what I know. This is ultimately going to wrap things up for today's video. Thank you all for watching, and I hope everybody watching has an extremely lovely day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.
Okay. I mean, that was interesting, the interpretation. I'm curious. I wonder where he got the information from. Because, like, that video just was not very... It wasn't, like, horrible, but it wasn't really very great. Like, where did you even get where'd you get any of that information from? Like, I'm surprised that... And, like, I don't care, but, like, I'm surprised that, like, I wasn't brought up in the video. I'm surprised. I don't know how you'd be able to find that information without me being part of it. And I'm not saying I want to be part of, like, oh, wow, I should be in this. I'm a good guy. But it's more of just, like, it's weird because... I was probably, outside of him and that girl, of course, I was probably the most prominent individual in that situation. So, you know, it's a little bit bizarre that he would even be able to find information on that without me being mentioned. So I wonder if they was, like, intentionally staying away from talking about me. Yeah, I think this video's at 450,000 views at this point. So it's something. It's interesting. Whatever. Cool beans. Where was my mention? Like, actually pretty freaked up.